Hi there, this is Straventus Consulting with another business power up. Now, today we want to talk about business strategy. Business strategy is something that every organization should be thinking about, whether you're a small business or a global enterprise. In today's market, businesses are focused on growth, the future, and what's next. Strategy is something that we use to tie all of that together. It starts with your goals, your objectives, and all of these drive the entire process. And we simplify this by breaking down these goals into actionable steps that deliver real outcomes. My name is Sam with Straventus Consulting. I help businesses of all sizes achieve their goals and objectives. Let's dive into it. All right, so in our first section here, we're talking about using objectives to define your future state. And we're going to do this at a very high level. Every strategy starts with a clear vision of where you want to go. And your objectives are acting as a blueprint for your future state. And your future state, again, is where you're trying to get to. It's a definition of what success looks like to guide every decision that you and your team make in designing that strategy. All right, so now that we understand where we want to go, we need to understand where we are. And this is called understanding the current state. So before mapping your journey, you need to know where you're starting. Assessing your current state helps you identify strengths, weaknesses, and constraints. You might use common business tools such as a SWOT analysis or Porter's 5 forces. Understanding your current state also helps you understand and develop a readiness assessment for change. Is your team even going to be ready to embark on a new strategy, or do you have a lot of prep work to do? That's why understanding your current state is so important, so that when you identify initiatives and other objectives, you know where your starting point is. So now that we understand where we want to go in our future state and where we're coming from in our current state, it's time to start understanding our gaps, our pain points, and what I like to call our delta. Our delta really just is our future state minus our current state, and that identifies gaps that we have in capabilities and understanding between where we are and where we want to go. When we talk about pain points, those are things like inefficiencies, skill gaps, outdated technology. Those are things that we might need to address to get to our future state. Identifying these gaps allows us to focus on the most critical areas for improvement. This is going to help us make an inventory of initiatives that help address our gaps. All right, so now that we understand our gaps and pain points, we're going to start developing and ranking an inventory of initiatives. With gaps and pain points clear, it's time to brainstorm initiatives that are going to bridge the gap between our current and our future state. We want to discuss prioritization. We want to rank our initiatives by impact, feasibility, and cost. This is going to help us focus on efforts that deliver the most value with available resources. Again, we want to try to focus on lowest hanging fruit first. These are things that are going to deliver the most value with the least amount of effort and resources so we can get quick wins right off the bat. Great. So now that we've ranked and identified our initiatives, it's time to start building a plan. This plan is going to be the meat of our strategy. Depending on the size of your organization, you might do a 30, 60, or 90-day plan. But again, this is going to vary based on your resources, the time frame of your project, so on and so forth. So once your initiatives are ranked, you got to make a plan. This is going to take a lot of workshopping and a lot of collaboration with your team to really understand what capabilities that we have to achieve these goals. We want to be realistic. We want to right size our plans to fit our initiatives and what we have at our disposal. All right, so now that we have our 30, 60, 90, or our short-term, mid-term, and long-term plan assembled, we're going to use a RACI matrix to make assignments. A RACI matrix really just helps us ensure there's accountability and assign roles for each task that goes into our 30, 60, 90-day plan. We'll talk about a RACI matrix in another video. Okay, so our last step here is communicating urgency. A great plan falls flat without urgency. To get buy-in, we need to communicate why an action is critical. And we're kind of getting into change management here, but it's really important with any initiative or any strategic plan to have that change plan embedded in achieving these business objectives and getting to our future state. And it's best to have these messages come from the top or some kind of leadership within your organization to hit home. And we want to communicate often and we want to communicate effectively. We'll get into communication and we'll get into change management in future videos. This is just a high level look at the strategy process. If you're ready to dive deeper and want a partner to help craft and execute your plan, let's connect. Straventis Consulting can help you turn these steps into actionable results for your business.